Hey, welcome to Freedom on Fire. This is your boy Bob TV. How you doing today? Now I want to talk about a touchy subject because I'm getting so ticked off, pissed off, angry about people who assume that somebody's going to win and we ain't even voted yet. Can I tell you something, people, especially for those people who say, all right, let's just admit it, there's only going to be a winner out of this race, either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. That may be true. So anybody who's thinking about voting third party, you're wasting your vote. Now that's a lie. It is a bald-faced lie. Let me tell you something, because I'm going to be one that's going to waste my vote. I'm not going to not vote. But if somebody decides that they're not going to vote, I'm not going to try to get them and say your forefathers died for you to have the right to vote. Yeah, they died for me to have a right to vote. They also died for me to have a right not to vote. And when you got two failed candidates that all they do is sling mud to each other, none of them, and both on record, is flawed. Both of them gave you this facade that they're successful in what they do. Hillary Clinton giving the facade that she is the most qualified. When you look at her record as Secretary of State, you look at her record as state senator or U.S. senator, horrible. And some of you're putting on this, you're listening to this stuff instead of checking people's records yourself. And this is how you get a messed up candidate in office, running for 4 to 8 years, screwing up America. Like me, I voted for George Bush just for the simple fact that he said he loved the Lord. I said, that's my guy, because I love the Lord too. Voted for him for that. Never really digged into his record as governor of Texas. Now I wish I would have never did that. Didn't vote for him the second term, just like I didn't vote for Obama the second term. I voted for Obama because of his record as a community organizer, because I believe we need more activists running the office versus politicians. To me, politics, you know what the word politics mean? Divide in half. Poly mean many, ticks mean bloodsucker. That's what ticks do. They suck blood. And that's what it feel like. We got too many people in office sucking our blood. And we keep putting these people in office. That's why I am voting for Jill Stein, because she's an activist. I think it's time for an activist, somebody who works in the community, cares about the community, and made a commitment to focus on the community in different aspects of the community. Not all this going to war and we need to stop the Russians and blaming Russia. I mean, the songs I've been hearing for the past 2 weeks is Trump, Russia, Trump, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Trump, Russia. I don't hear no policies. None. Now I digress. I'm going to prove to you that a third party can win. Now, I told you in the last video that only 9% voted in the primaries. 9% went out and voted in the primaries. I'm thinking, man, I mean, Bernie had numbers like I don't know what. We already know Bernie won that thing. And election experts said they cheated Bernie. They purged the rolls. They defrauded. They threw out ballots. They did a whole bunch of stuff. And right now there's lawsuits and there's still investigation. And election experts said Bernie won it by 15%. But you know what the DNC did? They cheated. Debbie Wasserman's show had to resign because she cheated and rigged the elections. The places that was needed most with the most delegate count, first of all, Democrats got these super delegates, which all of them profess to be in the pocket of Clinton because of some things she did previous before that year. So she kind of locked the super delegates, or she put them in a position of owing. And I kept telling you, super delegates, that you don't owe her nothing. But because she so-called did all these things for them, they felt they owe her. So no matter how great and how Bernie was winning and how much he could have did, because Bernie would have been killing Trump right now. Clinton is barely beating the worst candidate of all times, man. How do you manage to be the greatest person to ever run, but barely can beat a buffoon? And Hillary Clinton would not be the president if they can gather all this stuff in court. But by the time they gather all this stuff in court, we'll already be at the inauguration by then. 9%, not 9% for Trump, not 9% for Hillary Clinton. No, 9% combined actually went out and voted. Now I want you to get this. So if 9% actually went out and voted in the primaries, and I gotta let you know, the independents never really got a shot. And they did that on purpose. Majority of the places that the Democrats hold their their races are closed primaries, which means only Democrats can vote in it. It's not open for Republicans to vote for Bernie or independents like myself to vote for Bernie. It was closed to Democrats. So in order for you to vote for Bernie or Clinton, you would have to register as a Democrat. Now in my state, you had to register way back in October, and you really didn't know the candidates at that time. You knew Hillary Clinton because of Bill, but you didn't know Bernie, and then didn't know his record. Now as people got to know Bernie, overwhelmingly people went for Bernie, but they could not vote for him because the Democrats set up this thing called closed primaries. In other words, if you want to vote for this guy, you're going to have to join our crew. And independents like me take pride in not being a part of a party. Because in my mind, parties, all they want to do is suck up your money and manipulate the system and put in office who they want versus who you want. That's why I got out of the Democratic Party right after the election. I wanted to vote for Bernie so bad that I joined the Democratic Party, and they had an opportunity to keep me until they rigged it. I don't want to be a part of anything that's cheating. That's why I'm not a Republican. I used to be a Republican. I'm not a Democratic. I don't want to be a part of no party because of this. I want to be free to vote for whoever I want to vote for. Now, as a result of that, there was about 75%, there was 3 million independents didn't get a chance to vote just in New York alone because they closed the primaries. And 80% of those 3 million people were for Bernie. Bernie won majority of New York State. The only two places he didn't win was New York City, I think Syracuse, and Buffalo, those 3 areas. But majority of the state he won. Now, why he didn't win in those areas? Widespread election fraud. So you got to understand about New York. New York is a Democratic state. It is blue. It's going to always be blue. It's not a red state. And a lot of those politicians are tied to Clinton, like Governor Cuomo, Mayor Bloomberg, Mayor de Blasio, and most of them owe her favors because she helped them get in office. And I understand the Clinton name is big. And it means if you can get a Clinton out to campaign for you, it's an automatic shot that you was going to win, or it used to be. Now the name is mud because people find out the truth about the Clintons thanks to WikiLeaks. Now, as a result of that, Bernie didn't win. But you still got people who are independents who are cramming to vote. Now, let me go ahead and get the statistics up. Again, I'll reiterate, only 9% combined voted for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, which means 91% of Americans did not go out and vote. That is horrible, terrible. That means that a fraud can get in this race and get a chance of beating these two. Don't let the media fool you thinking that a third-party candidate don't have a shot. The latest poll said about 75% of Americans, not 10, not 20, not 30, 75% of Americans want to hear from a third party on what they can offer the country because they heard these two clowns of a politicians and they don't want it. Now, these are the statistics. 75% want them in the debates. But what do? You talking about America, the free, the land of the brave, and all that kind of crap? They took the debate committee from the Women of League of Voters because the Women of League of Voters say, hey, you guys are rigging this thing, you're cheating this thing, and we don't want to have nothing to do with it. So they stepped out of it because the oligarch, the wealthy people, begin to buy up the election process. Don't think you just your vote alone is going to get somebody in office. There's too much stuff working behind it. Please, you got to understand this stuff. It's not just your vote that's going to count. It's a lot of stuff behind the votes. Sometimes you can vote for somebody and the machine will show somebody else because it's so much rigging in the United States election process. Now, let me get back to this. So, you got all these people didn't get a chance to vote, and 9% voted. 9% voted combined. It is predicted that in the general election, the turnout is going to be so horribly low. That's why for those of you who want to sit there and manipulate the American, let me go back to this debate process. So what they said was, look, these are our rules. If you want to be in the debate, I don't care if you're registered in all 50 states, you're going to be in all 50 ballots. You got to poll at 15% to get in the debates. Now, here's the problem with that. You're polling for the Democrats, and you get a certain amount of people saying they're voting for Democrat. You're polling for Republicans, and you get a certain amount of people. All of that polling is over 15%. But when you poll somebody like Gary Johnson or Jill Stein, you don't put them as separate organizations. Green Party, let's see where you're going to poll at. Gary Johnson, let's see where you're going to poll. No, you put them under the section called uncommitted. That is not proper polling. You're not asking them whether they want to be part of a third party. That's what they're doing. You know, most of the media who are investing in the Republican parties and the Democratic Party, they own the polls. You got the MSNBC poll. That's a media-driven poll. You got a Pool poll. You got the Washington Post poll. All these are media outlets that are billionaire investors that's buying into these corporations. Buying into these politicians. That's what they're doing. They own the polls. So when they go and start polling people, number one, they did some investigation and find out they're not polling people 18 to 35. Why? Because 18 and 35, 75% are shooting for a third party. But they're not going to poll them, because if they poll them, they'll see that 75% of 18 and 35 want a third party. Now they got to let the third parties into the debates. And that is something they don't want. Because the last time they let a person in debate, Ross Perot took a lot of votes from the Republicans and Democrats, and they don't want that. And they tried their best to shut Ralph Nader out, but without all that glamorous spotlight, Ralph Nader, he got some votes. Oh, Ralph Nader took so many votes. Let's don't start with this Ralph Nader thing. I got a video on Ralph Nader, and you guys lying on Ralph. Ralph Nader earned every last one of his votes. Those people wanted to vote for Ralph Nader. And who are you to think that somebody owe you their vote? I'm a black man. What makes you think just because I'm a black man, a Democrat, to get my vote? You don't get my vote. You got to earn my vote. It's my vote. They fought and died for me to have the freedom to vote whoever I want or not vote. And if I see you're going to rig this thing, well, I'm going to vote for you. And if I see two parties rig, if there was nobody to vote for, and I see these two parties trying to cheat their behind out, I'm not going to add my support. I will sit it out. And call me wrong, call me un-American, and I'll call you a liar. That's how important my vote is. That's how important your vote is. So Ralph Nader earned every last one of his votes. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for Ralph Nader, because Ralph Nader took more Republican votes than Democratic votes, yet Al Gore still got his behind spanked. He didn't win West Virginia. He didn't win this state. He just sucked. He sucked. That's why he lost. Don't blame nobody but him. Don't blame Ralph Nader. Don't blame George Bush. Even when it came to the recount and people trying to stand up against the voting fraud, he sat there and let them continue to go through with this. He quit. The bottom line, he quit. That's why I'm upset with Bernie. With all this widespread election fraud, he did not take a stand for his own revolution that he so-called started. He didn't take a stand and stand for the people who fought in his political revolution, and he didn't fight against election fraud. That's why I'm done with Bernie Sanders. I'm glad that he's going to go back to Senate and continue to do what he do. He should stay his butt there if he was going to quit like that. Anyway, I digress. So, lead me to this point. An independent has a strong chance of upsetting this thing. So you people who keep running your mouth saying, let's just face the fact, there's going to be one or two people going to win, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. No, only 9% of Americans voted for those two, but because they figure they have no other choice. See, what they're trying to do is use control opposition to make you think that there's no other person, and if they are, they don't have a shot in heaven or hell. And that's a lie they're selling you. I get people text me back or email me or Facebook me and say, she's not going to win. Well, you said that about Bernie. You tried to devalue Bernie, and Bernie won this thing, and you had to cheat to take the election from him. So no, she can win, and you're going to have to cheat to take the election from her. Right now, you're screwing the polls. Right now, you're trying to keep her out of debates. Why? Because you're scared of her. And I invite anybody, go to JillStein2016.com, look at her platform. They're scared of that. Her platform is Bernie platform on steroids. She's more progressive than Bernie could be in his finger. She takes it another notch. Bernie never offered reparations for blacks and Native American Indians, but she do. Bernie never had a strong position for Black Lives Matter, but she do. And I can go on and on. You go look at the platform. She wants to eliminate student debt. Bernie never said nothing about eliminating student. He said kids should be able to get into college for free. No, she said no, it should be an American right to go to college. You shouldn't have to pay for college unless you want to go to one of them fancy colleges. But no, you should be able to go to college for free. And if you got college debt, we need to wipe that debt off so you can take your money and spend it into the economy. We release the debt for the con artists on Wall Street. Why we can't release the debt for the people who suffered from the con artists, the students? So, knuckleheads, stop saying that. You're saying that to try to put doubt in people. And every time I post something on Facebook, I say I believe all things are possible. And I really believe that. I believe these two candidates are so flawed, so unpopular. Nobody trusts them. All they do is sling mud. They have no concrete policy, that somebody has a chance to start shine and outshine them and win this election. Now, let me get to some statistics, because I need to shut y'all up who say that stuff, because you don't know that. And both of them are into so many crooked stuff, all it takes is one indictment for both of them and they have to step down. And now you got a third party who get it by default. And don't you dare try to test God. Now, here's one of the reasons why they fear a third party and do whatever they can to shut the people who are running on the presidential tickets as third party. Why they want to shut them down? There's only 26% of registered people that call themselves Republicans. 26%. There's only 17% Democrats. Let me tell you something. If the Democrats don't get out the vote, and it don't look like they're going to happen, they got to scare people to get out the vote. They got to say Trump is Hitler. Trump going to take us back to slavery. Trump is going to kill all our black babies. Well, Hillary's going to send our black babies to war, and Hillary's going to have us bombing down other black and brown people over there in Syria. That's another story. Bernie Democrats was at 14%. So the Democrats altogether is about maybe 30%. Bernie, in his success running, got about 40% of the Democrats. He got almost half of the so-called Democrats that Hillary was supposed to get. In other words, he came from being about 60% behind to getting about 40% of the Democratic vote in the primary. That's almost half. The only way they could stop him from winning is they had to shut him down. They had to shut out the independents. Now, and they were successful. Shut the independents out, don't let them vote. Make it a closed primary. Because 75% of the independents was on Team Bernie but couldn't vote for him. He would have killed Hillary by a landslide. But they fear that because Bernie would have changed the system. They don't want the system changed. They want it to stay the same because they're profiting big time. So with 43% independents, 26 Republicans, 17% Democrat, Hillary Clinton Democrats, and Bernie Democrats, they fear us because independents are in the majority. And if the Bernie-crats hook up with the independents and all vote for Jill Stein, she wins. My Facebook buddies, Pat Eller-Hinkie, she said independents are 46% of the electorate. That the other half is split between Democrats and Republicans. But yet the Democratic piece of the pie is split because the Bernie-crats do not want to vote for Hillary. And Hillary Clinton had everybody sell out to go to her. Elizabeth Warren sold the progressive people to start going with her, a corporate Democrat. And that has marred her and scarred her and tarnished her. So you got President Obama out there supporting Hillary Clinton. You got Mrs. Obama supporting Hillary Clinton. You got Jill Biden. You have Bill Clinton. You have the Black Congressional Caucus. You have, a whole host of other people. Barney Frank and Ed Rendell and all these other guys. in support of Hillary Clinton. And with all that all-star cast, she still can't beat Donald Trump. She's still barely beating him. Donald Trump spanked her behind in the debates, bought the whole entire, he raped me crew, put him in the front row. And you accuse me of raping, it was his fault, crew, for her. Donald was a beast. Got to give it to him that day. So 46% of the electorate, the mass majority of burners, 94% of the burners have pledged a Not Hillary Ever pack. 94%. So when you see these posters, 94% of Bernie Sanders are supporting Hillary Clinton, lie, media lie. It is propaganda. It is a totally bald-faced lie, because majority of Bernie Sanders supporters are not going to vote Hillary Clinton. Why? Bernie supporter? Hey, I don't know why he did it. I don't know why he didn't go third party. I don't know why he didn't tell Jeff Weaver to go take a hike, because he could have won this thing. But just because he supporting her, which Democrats do once they lose, they support one another, that don't mean we got to do it. And 94% is not going to do it. I don't care what he's done. Even his endorsement didn't help her. She thought it would, but it didn't. Nothing is helping her. Why? Because she is just as flawed as the person that she's running against. That's why it's so easy for a third-party person to win. If you who thinking that and say that, shut your mouth up and get out there and vote for her, because you know she will be better than both of them combined. 80% of those 94% burners are registered Democrat. Hillary Clinton is not carrying her own party membership. We could very well make Jill Stein the president. To do so, we have to come together. We have to quit being distracted, quit falling for the control opposition, stop falling for the she can't win scenario. Stop falling for it. I like underdog. Stop falling for it. This could be a Cinderella presidency, because they are so terrible and so unlikable and so dishonest and so untrustworthy that only 9% voted for them in the primary. Boo Boo and his cat could win. So what we have to do is come together, and we have to quit being distracted. Have this election be a giant cluster. Boop. Yes, it is. But burners have the power to elect somebody who stands for what we stand for: democracy, not plutocracy or the 1%. So let's all pledge to focus, promote Jill, talk to everyone you know to get out the vote for Jill. Come on, folks, this is a no-brainer. America know it is, and the media know it is. The media know Hillary Clinton is flawed. They know Donald Trump is flawed. I don't know. The man who had the plan to win was Bernie Sanders. They don't want that. They'll rather have an oligarch going to look out for their interests than have somebody that's really going to be there for the people. It's all about deregulation and regulations. Bill Clinton deregulated the telecom laws. They need a corporatist in office. And to have a corporatist, what I call, I don't know what Jill called it, a Democratic or a Dempublican, a Demoplican or Republicrat. When you got two parties merged into one, that's what Hillary Clinton is planning on doing. She is a Republican. She is a blue dog Republican. That's why Ronald Reagan kind of liked the fact that Bill Clinton won after he over George Bush the second time. He admired Bill Clinton before he died, because Bill Clinton is a blue dog Republican. Hillary Clinton is a blue dog Republican. They are Republicans at heart. They are not liberals. They're not progressive. So the powers that be need that. They don't need somebody to upshake the system and put it back in the hand of the people. And that is what the Green Party threatens to do, and that's what Bernie Sanders threatened to do. Bernie Sanders don't realize it, but the Green Party is his home. And we asking you, brother, come on home. Because with you and Jill Stein together, we would have won this thing for the people. But you punked out. Don't get mad, people. But he did. He punked out. He left Jeff Weaver. He should have gave Jeff Weaver the boot and got with Jill. But it's okay. This is what we got to do. With majority of the burners who dim-axed it and really have no place to go, you vote down ballot for progressives, whether they're Democrats or Green. But when it comes to that presidency, we're asking you. I don't tell you what to do. I'm asking you to look at Jill Stein and make a decision. Hopefully you'll see that she promotes more of Bernie Sanders positions than the Democrats do. The Democrats had negotiated that, and that was not an easy negotiation. You can go back on YouTube and watch the video. The Democrats did not want to give Bernie 1 inch, but they wanted to get that endorsement thinking that all of us was going to go to her. So Bernie did the noble thing, fell on the sword, and fought to change the Democratic platform to the most progressive Democratic platform, not the most progressive platform, period, but the most progressive Democratic platform. He fell on the sword and took that leverage and would not get out the race until he got that. And Hillary Clinton said, look, I'll give you as much as I can, long as you endorse me. And even though we're mad and upset that he endorsed her, I guess that was the price to pay. Like Donald Trump said, he made a deal with the devil. You know, she's not the devil, by the way, but you know the expression. So, with 9% combined in the primaries and a historic lower percentage, predicting that it's going to be under 9% that's going to go out and vote. That's a shot for anybody. It's like playing football and the quarterback hand you the ball and the whole entire defense just laid down on the ground. And maybe about 2 or 3 people are still standing up. Man, you got a wide open hole, man. You can go for it. And that's what we got right here. We got a wide open hole to go for. 9%, less than 9% predict to go out and vote. That's why Obama is yelling, please get out to vote. We got to get out to vote, because he know people don't go out and vote. Donald was going to win, but look, he's forgetting about Jill Stein. Jill Stein and Gary Johnson has a shot to win. Jill Stein has more of a shot. Go to Jill 2016, look at the platform. Watch her videos. Watch her videos with the news reporters. Watch her rallies. Watch her expanded debate series with Democracy Now!, where she's in the middle debating Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, even though they didn't allow her to be in the venue. They inserted her into the video thanks to technology. And get to know her. And I always say that it's just like Bernie. The more you know her, the more you'll fall in love with her. And you'll be more on her side. She is for you. She is for the people. She gave up a career as a doctor to work on community issues. So go watch, go check her out. I got a playlist on the Bob TV, Meet Jill Stein, the female Bernie Sanders. Go ahead. You don't have to go look for all those videos. I got them all right there. Go check her out. And here's the instruction. For anybody that has student debt, I don't care if you're 19 to 90, because some of these people are 90 years old still paying school debt. If you're 19 to 90 and you still got school debt, Jill Stein said if you vote for her, one of her first things that she will enact right away is to cancel student debt. She believed that you done been under that umbrella or that fist for so long. It's time for you to get from under it and take that extra money and invest in yourself, invest into your community, invest into the economy. That's what she said going to do. So every student who has student debt or may have student debt in the future, vote for Jill Stein. Every burner who voted for Bernie Sanders or wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders but couldn't because you're independent and you didn't want to sign up and register as a Democratic, if you vote for Jill Stein, we win. So for those people who talk all that trash, yes, you can win, chump. If we can get most of those student debts paid for, that's enough right there. But with the Berniecrats and the independents overwhelmingly going for a progressive, baby, we won. How you like that? How you like me now? Right? So it's very simple to win this election. Voter turnout was low in the primaries for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders really won that in a huge margin, but they cheated. They cheated. Hillary Clinton is not that strong of a candidate. Donald Trump is not that strong of a candidate. Thing is, Donald Trump won his fair and square. At least I think so, but maybe there was some rigging on that because Hillary Clinton needed Donald Trump to win. Could have been some rigging there. I wouldn't doubt it. Number 2, it is predicted that it's going to be about 5 to 9% that's going to get out and vote for those two again. And the more people watching, the more people say, look, I'm done. I'm not going to vote for them. And the more people understand that they don't have to vote for the lesser of the two evil, they can vote for the greater good, then the more we'll get people interested in this campaign of Jill Stein and Ajamo Baraka, and we can really get out the vote. And if we decide to take the Bernicrats, the independents, and the people who are in debt, and we rally them to get out the vote, we win. Here's the secret. Here's something you don't know. You should know, but I guess you don't know it yet. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton suck. They suck as politicians. They suck. Don't waste your time. Vote for Jill Stein. I'm out.